Hey, you guys, this is Josh
and Carolyn
with Homesteading Family, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pantry Chat Food for Thought.
Today we are answering your questions.
That's right, it is a Q&A kind of day.
Yeah, so let's head on to the Harvest Kitchen.
Yep.
And start answering some questions.
Let's go, let's dive in. All right, welcome back to the Harvest Kitchen.
Usually we start off a pantry chat with a little bit of chit chat. If you want to skip the chit chat, you can go ahead and skip ahead to the main topic, which is the Q&A today.
Yep.
And you just hit the see more in the description area below this video, and it'll give you the timestamp so you know right to what to skip ahead to.
Absolutely.
And for the chit chat. So what have you been up to?
Oh, well, I just got back from a trip.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Took that trip to California, saw a lot of family, got to see your mom and dad.
Yeah?
And my dad and grandma.
It's fun to get to see everybody.
We had some business to take care of down there. We're originally from down south.
Down south.
There. Yeah, and so had a few things to do, and it was a good trip. Glad to be home.
Did you eat a taco?
Absolutely. A whole lot of tacos.
Did you see the sunshine?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, California sunshine. Didn't good.
I am missing the sunshine. Seems like it's been a while.
Getting to that time of the year. If you know what sad is, then
it's a real thing.
You know what living in the Pacific Northwest or even the inland Northwest like we are is all about. In February, it just starts to sit on you a little bit.
It does.
So, but I got a little reviving, and we'll get through, and you're going to get to here in a little bit.
Yeah, a few more weeks.
And miss traveling with you, but nice to be able to get out.
Yeah, so that's kept you busy.
Yeah, now what did you do while I was gone?
You know what I did? The weather has not been great. It's still winter. Still winter. So I haven't done any planting. I did not plant the whole garden while you were gone, just so you know.
What's up with that?
Sorry.
No ice plants?
No ice plants, right, icicles. Okay. But I've been getting ready for my webinar. I'm getting really excited about this because the webinar, if you're watching this live or like right as it comes out, the webinar's in 2 days, on Tuesday. So that's really exciting.
Right. Yep.
I'm getting a little nervous, but we're going to be talking about...
Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. This is Carolyn's first live webinar. So this is a chance to hang out live.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, the title is, this time I've got it, The 7 Simple Steps to Herbal Remedies That Work. How to create simple, effective healing systems for your family.
Wow, it's going to be good.
It's going to be really good because it's really going to look at the overall framework of using herbs and making it effective for your family. So if you've ever tried to, wanted to, anything, start switching to natural remedies or herbs, and you found yourself going, this just doesn't really work, and then you reach back for an over-the-counter drug, this is exactly the training that you're going to want to jump in on. So in the description section, there will be a link for you to follow to learn more about it and to sign up. Make sure you're there with us on Tuesday evening.
Do I get to be there?
I hope you're going to be there. I don't think I can do it without you. You got to run all the tech stuff because that is not my department.
That's right. If things go black, you know who to blame.
So I've been spending a little extra time working on that since the weather's not too conducive of getting out anyways.
Yeah.
And
very cool.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, and there is going to be a Q&A, I think, at the end of that.
Yes, there'll be a live Q&A at the end of that.
However, it's time to get to our Q&A today.
Right. Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah, no question of the week because they're all questions of the week.
So let's right into questions, and we're going to start with a question from the last Q&A. And this is about the upcoming membership, our upcoming membership.
Oh, okay. So the question is from the last Q&A question.
It is,
okay,
yes.
okay.
Sorry
Got it.
if I was not clear.
Nope.
This is from Deborah Toffelmeyer, I think, on the last Q&A. And she's asking, is there a fee for the membership?
We've got our brand new membership. We're getting really excited about it. It's about to come online in the next few months.
Yep.
We've got a lot of really exciting plans for it, and we will be talking more about that as it kind of unfolds in the next month or two here.
We will. And there is going to be a fee.
Yes.
There's going to be a couple, and we are going to be trying to do something very, very low
to
make it just super easy to
very
get in.
easy for people to do.
And then it'll have a couple of different levels is what we're working out. So we want to make it as accessible as possible But yes, there is going to be a fee here because we're going to be committing to you guys that jump in on this that we are going to be able to answer all of your questions.
Right.
Give some live access at times, along with a video vault of instructionals and a bunch of other stuff we're still working out.
Yeah.
So we got to charge a little for that, but we're going to try to make it really worthwhile and really easy access, at least on one level.
Yeah, I think there's even talk of having one level of that where people get access to all of our master classes, right?
Yes, that would be an upper level.
That would be an upper level. So
absolutely.
at a monthly fee instead of one large flat rate.
Right,
So
which is great.
it's
We've
really
asked, some
exciting.
of you have asked for, to be able to make monthly payments or installments.
Right.
And so this can be another way to get some of those master classes besides the just the general membership.
Right.
So yeah, more on that to come soon, and we should have a wait list up pretty soon for that as well.
Yeah, fun.
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Okay. Gary Lou on canning meat, the super easy raw pack video. Is it cooked when you take it out of the pressure pot, and how long can we store this?
It is well cooked when you take it out of the pressure canner. It is going to be tender, fall apart type tender, even for the tougher cuts of meat. So it is very well cooked. And if it is canned properly, it will store for a really long time. The official recommended storage time is 1 year. But that's because after that, you start declining in your nutrient density and things like that. So it's not because it goes bad. Can't properly canned goods can last on your shelf. It's really nearly indefinitely as long as you maintain a good seal. So as long as there's a good seal, you're good to go.
Dark and cool, certainly temperature stable helps.
It helps keep it a lot longer and better quality.
Of those. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Pilgrim's Progress. All right, Pilgrim. On how to make your own super greens powder. We haven't had a question on that one in a long time. How long does that keep in storage?
It's kind of the same thing. How long is it great for versus how long does it technically last for? It's a dried green. It's going to last for years if you keep it dry. It's just going to sit there. Now, it's not going to stay as fresh, as flavorful, as nutrient dense for very long, like years and years and years. And the general rule of thumb for that is just preserve enough for one season so that you're ready for the next season. So about a year. Now, of course, you can do things to make it last longer. Keep it out of direct light is really important. Keep it out of constant airflow. So keep it in a lockdown container.
So, yeah, you could vacuum seal it if you wanted to.
You could absolutely vacuum seal it.
Remove all the oxygen.
Yeah. You definitely want to keep it as temperature stable as possible. That does not mean that it needs to stay like cold, like in a refrigerator. Although you could do that. Some people do that.
Sure.
But just, don't heat it up and drop it down and heat it up and drop it down.
That's just a couple good rules on storing most things.
Just general storage
temperature
rules.
Stable, generally cooler, though different things have different temperatures, but cool, temperature stable, and no sunlight.
Yeah, no direct sunlight.
The temperature fluctuations and sunlight are two of the worst things.
Absolutely.
For storing.
Completely dark is really ideal, but it's not necessary either. But the out of direct sunlight is very important because of the UV damage to the nutrients in the food.
Right. Okay. Open coop on ferment your own chicken feed. Another older video.
Okay.
Any opinion on fermenting pellets? I wouldn't try it. I think it would turn to mush. You could give it a try, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know if it would even ferment. So
I would ferment. I think it would go alcoholic really quickly like that because it's in such small pieces.
Yeah, it's just really hard to say. So we haven't experimented with that, and honestly, I wouldn't try it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Homesteading Crazy. All right, I like that. Homesteading Crazy. On late summer garden tour.
Okay.
What do you use for mulch? And we use a whole lot of different things for mulch. We've had to bring in our mulch this year on this property as we're building up some things. And so we've been using wood shavings from a local cabinet shop. We also are chipping and making some of our own mulch.
Yeah.
Along with, we've had some local hay and straw, seedless, non-sprayed, that's worked well. Going forward, we are more and more going to be making our own from chipping our own woody materials on site.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
To get that first layer down takes a lot more, but then to keep adding to it takes a little bit less, right?
Right, absolutely. And really you want it to be organic, you want it to be clean, you don't want a bunch of seeds in it, you don't want to be adding weed seeds to your garden. And you know, you want it to be as inexpensive as possible.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, there's lots of sources. We're out in the country, so we've got everywhere from hay farmers and straw to wood material. One of your good resources if you're in town is your tree trimming companies like Asplund.
Yeah.
Is a nationwide one. If you can get those guys often, they are happy to drop it in their route somewhere if they don't have to go out of their way, and that can be fantastic.
Yeah, that can be a really good deal.
Absolutely.
Good.
Okay, let's see here. I gotta switch pages. Scott McCollum on 1,400 pounds of chicken in a day. I don't think that's what the video was called, but
it was
that
something
we
close.
butchered 200 chickens in a day.
Oh man, that was a day, wasn't it?
That was a big day. We had some help, and it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun.
There are always a lot of fun days. I think any day where you're faced with a monumental task to get done and you can throw, you know, a bunch of people are doing it together is a lot of fun.
And you're getting rained on to boot.
You're getting rained on, it's wet, it's cold, it's miserable. Like, you know, I know the saying isn't misery loves company from this angle, but it's a lot of fun to be miserable together.
It's true bonding.
It is very bonding.
We had some great neighbors come and help out.
Yeah.
Anyways, the question was, do y'all consume all of this yourselves throughout the year, or do you sell some to the markets also? If not, why? So yes, we were raising this for all of ourselves. If you're familiar with our story, we had been through transition and had to go to California to help family, and so a lot of our stores got low.
Yeah.
Very low. Lower
we
on
spent a
meat.
whole year not raising meat.
Right. So we were very low on meat, lower than we'd been in 10 years, and so I guess we were hungry. So
it was a lot of
we did
chicken.
225 chickens for ourselves. It's more than we need, and we will probably have to do less this year. As far as the market, we just raise for ourselves. There's just not something we've wanted to do as far as taking those to market. And so we just don't do it.
They were beautiful birds though, so they absolutely could have gone to market because they look so good. And we're blessed to be able to share with neighbors and with friends too. So we've been able to pass some of those out and help out some other people. So we've really appreciated having the excess, to be able to share.
And hey, you know what? Maybe one of the things we're doing here is setting up enterprises so that some of the kids, if they want to pick up some different enterprises, they can. And so that may be something one of the kids is interested in the future.
Yeah.
But
Good.
Okay. We got another one from Scott McCollum on how to organize your pantry food storage. What part of California were y'all from?
We're from down south in the mountains.
A little town called Idlewild.
Idlewild
area. Great place to grow up.
Really neat area.
This living here reminds us of that when we were kids.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Can we do this one?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
Rita Strong on Pantry Chat Q&A last week. Carolyn, I've seen some of your videos about canning outside in the snow.
Oh, yeah. Okay, people ask
this. Were you barefoot too?
Maybe.
I basically have the same setup and haven't done any canning outside yet, but I was wondering, how do you get those hot jars out of the canner back into the house in such cold weather without them breaking? Good question. You're really thinking through the details.
It is a good question, and quite a few people have asked that. And I've got to say, I have canned outside in very bitterly cold weather, and I have actually never had a jar break. So both coming in and out, I prep everything inside, and then I have that big pan, or big like turkey roasting pan, and I load that with my jars that are ready, and I take it outside and get the jars right into the canner before they cool off. So they've never had that much time to cool off. There, you know, some of the jars, it takes a minute before they're in the canner. So I guess they could start getting a little cooler, but because they've been warmed and the contents inside of them are hot, I just haven't had a problem with that. The same thing for taking them out. I just take them out, put them right in that pan, take them straight inside for cooling. So they don't just sit around out of the canner for very long when they're outside in that kind of weather.
I got to add though, because we're going to get some comments from our friends way up north. this is not negative 40s type temperatures.
Okay,
There's
so
going to be a temperature level
my
there.
frigid that I'm talking about is probably, 20 degrees, positive 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right. And so
That's
there's
frigid to
definitely,
me.
and if any of y'all that live up north want to comment on this,
Mhm.
there is probably a temperature somewhere there in the negatives where that would be a problem. It's a very
I would
valid
imagine.
question, and
Yeah.
that could become a problem. We just don't live in temps that get
Especially
that
if you
cold.
have wind, because that's just going to make that
Yeah.
air movement around those jars a
But
lot
there is a place
worse.
where that just cold is going to be shocking to the hot class.
But it has to be pretty cold. Just cool weather outside is not going to be a
Right.
problem for that.
Absolutely. Okay, Sandra J on natural cough remedies, the 3 natural cough remedies.
yeah.
That one just came out.
Yep.
Thank you so much for this video. It's very timely as my family has been hit hard with coughs this year. Question about the salve use on babies. I've heard that EOs should not be used on kids under 2, but there is lavender EO in the salve. Have I heard incorrectly, or what makes it baby safe in this instance? Thanks so much.
Okay, so EO is an essential oil, of course, in her reference there. This is a really, really good question. And this is, I think, to me, a matter of degrees. I would never use essential oils on a baby, neat especially, without being diluted down in oil, every day. That would be a really bad idea. It just is too much for their bodies to handle. They're very concentrated. But if you think about the alternative, you get a baby who starts getting a really bad cough, and it is really quick before you're in a hospital with a baby with a cough, right? And what kind of treatments are they going to give that baby in the hospital? It's going to be some pretty heavy-duty drugs that are probably petroleum-based. And so those aren't any better for your baby than an essential oil. So here's this kind of gray area where I go, in general, right, I actually don't recommend that people use essential oils even on adults every day. I don't know that that would be considered safe personally, because they're very strong. However, they are that next degree that they're short of a pharmaceutical. So
got to check out Carolyn's health ladder.
Yeah.
That really, you really
it really
deal with
explains
that.
it in that. And that we'll put the link below to the Healthy Healing at Home series, where we talk about the ladder of health and how to know when to step up. But I think that would be my answer. Don't use it every day for something. But this is actually a very, very diluted down salve, where there's only a few drops of essential oil for actually quite a bit of carrier oil. So this is something that I feel very comfortable about for my babies. You'll have to make that decision. You can omit it. If that does not make you feel good, just make sure you keep that salve in the refrigerator. You can absolutely omit the essential oil altogether if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
Yeah.
Belle Lopez on pickled egg recipe. Can I pickle eggs with kombucha? Wow. Okay. I'm curious the answer on that one.
Great question. That's kind of fun. I would say that you need to make a kombucha vinegar first. And, that's a thing where you just are going to really leave your kombucha out. Essentially, you're starving kombucha. So you'd want to, pour it off of your main kombucha. You wouldn't want to do this to your kombucha with your SCOBY in it. So take some off to the side and honestly just let it sit out for about a month. And that's really going to starve it. It's going to make it highly acidic, and it's going to be considered a kombucha vinegar at that point. And then you could go ahead and do that. Now,
So I guess I'm wondering why. Why is there? What would be the purpose for that? Is it just something interesting to try, or would there be a particular
maybe because she
benefit?
has a lot of kombucha on hand and wants to do something
curious.
with it. That
Okay.
might be.
Sure.
I can't think that there would be any highly specific health benefits for that over, say, using an apple cider vinegar at that
Okay.
point. If it was, both were raw, then I wouldn't think there would be a huge health benefit from the kombucha. But you might have a different flavor. Might be exciting
Yeah,
and
well,
new.
you can definitely flavor your kombucha, so you could really play around.
You could.
I
You could
guess,
probably
with the
have fun with
flavor of
that.
Pickled eggs.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving on here to some other fermentation questions. Catherine C. on lacto-fermented preserved lemons. That's a mouthful. Once you've opened the jar and started using the lemons, you'll need to refrigerate them, correct? Question mark. But if you keep the lemons weighted down so that they are below the brine level, is it okay to store the jar unrefrigerated?
So preserved lemons do something different than most of your fermented foods, and that's that it completely thickens and gels that brine. So after about a month on the pantry shelf, all of a sudden you're not going to have a liquid brine anymore. You are going to have a gel that is filled with pieces of lemon.
Okay.
It's not an easy thing to keep them submerged, but honestly, at that point, they are so well fermented that I keep them on the pantry shelf. I'll take a few out and put them on the pantry shelf. The real key to that is make sure whatever utensil you're reaching in there with is very clean. Like, don't stick it in your mouth and then, I know that most people don't do that. But you want to make sure it's very clean so that you're not introducing bacteria at that point. You can keep it in the refrigerator. Absolutely, you can keep it there. You're just not going to get it under a brine because there really isn't a brine left there.
So you don't really need to weight it, is that what you're saying? Because a lot of things you're going to wait to keep down under the brine.
In
So you're saying with the
general,
lemons,
absolutely.
There's not a big need for the weight.
You just can't.
Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do once it's solidified.
All right, cool. Okay, on to more kombucha topics here.
Okay.
Kelly Hardy on how to make kombucha. Does your tap need a regular cleaning? Ours gets a lot of SCOBY floaters that clog it.
Absolutely. Yep. About once every 3 months, we have to kind of do some house cleaning on the kombucha container because it clogs completely, and I have to sometimes unscrew the whole thing, run hot water through it to get that tap to work again correctly. So
cool. Alrighty, now we get a lot of questions about the water glassing eggs video.
Right.
So this just comes from a bunch of different people.
Okay.
But people needing some clarification here. And good question, what is clean but unwashed? So when you say your eggs need to be clean to go into there, but not washed,
yes,
you don't want to wash off that natural protective coating.
Yes,
I know
it's
that much.
very important.
But you need to get them clean still. What do you mean?
What do I mean? Okay, so yes, you can have clean eggs that come out of the chicken coop clean. And while that maybe bothers some people because they're not washed with soap, they're actually they can be very clean. The real trick there is keeping your chicken coop clean, right? And keeping your nest boxes clean. If your eggs come in from the chicken coop with any visible dirt, muck, anything on it, do not use it for the water glassing the eggs.
So just to clarify here a little bit, because I fielded,
lots
Robin
of questions.
has fielded questions on this. So say you get an egg in and it does have a little something on it, and you can dry wipe it and clean that off. It's not stuck to it. Is that okay?
You do not want any sort of vigorous rubbing on your egg. So if you can just kind of like, there's some clean shavings on it and you just brush it off, that's fine. But you don't want to do anything where you're taking a cloth and rubbing it to get it off.
Stuck to it.
It doesn't
matter if you can get it off dry or not.
If you bring in eggs and there's stuff stuck to it, go back outside and clean your nest box. And then do it with tomorrow's eggs after it's clean. So, some people, it doesn't, I don't know, I don't think... It doesn't sound like there can be such a thing as a clean but unwashed egg, but it's really important that those eggs are not washed. Otherwise, this will not work. And most of the people who write us and say, oh, we had a problem, they didn't turn out great, they've got washed eggs.
Well, and one of the reasons eggs can even sit on a cool counter somewhere for quite a long time, weeks and weeks,
for many weeks,
is because of this coating.
Yes, natural coating on the eggs.
Once you wash that off, you got to use your eggs. They are going to go bad.
So I know some of you guys are joining us from other countries, and in other countries, you're not supposed to wash eggs that are being sold in the store. But here in the United States, they are required to wash the eggs before you can sell them in the store. Even some homegrown, sold from your home eggs have to be washed depending on different localities. So
this is where I will bite my tongue and hold my opinion.
It won't do any good.
Things like the FDA.
Right, okay.
So we'll just move on.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, can I use store-bought eggs? If you're in the United States, absolutely not. If you know, because they've been washed. If you know that your eggs have not been washed and they're store-bought eggs, then give it a try and see, but you sure don't want to do it with store-bought eggs in the United States.
All righty. Well, let's try to get a couple more in here before we run out of time. Sabine DeVos on garden planning Pantry Chat. Does anyone in your family suffer from hay fever? Hello. And do you have any home remedies for such?
Yeah, nettle. Nettle and alfalfa have been super helpful. I don't know that we've even given them very much to you, but we have a child or two who has some problems with hay fever really badly. She'll actually break out in hives and get really itchy if they're cutting hay anywhere near us. And nettle, just capsulated nettle, you could do nettle tea, you can get nettle in you however you can. You do have to take a lot, and it's way more effective if you start before you start suffering from symptoms. But nettle is one of those things that's so nutritive for you that it's like, it's good for you to take anytime. Like it's just filled with nutrition. So you're not gonna generally harm yourself unless you have some specific, health concerns by taking a bit of nettle. But that has been super helpful for us. Alfalfa is another one, which seems counterintuitive because a lot of times the hay fever is caused by alfalfa. But taking that again just gives your body such a strong boost of nutrition that it seems to be able to sort out the symptoms that it's experiencing by itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, in talking about nutrient accumulators, we'll move on to this question from Gail LeBlanc on the Garden Planting Pantry Chat. And Gail says, on the topic of fertilizers, last summer I planted a row of comfrey, Russian number 4. The purpose is for a tea and or drop and chop fertilizer. What are your thoughts on using comfrey for this purpose? I'm experimenting and probably should have asked first. I plan to put it in the worm beds as well. Gail, you are on an excellent path. It is great for all of those things. Comfrey is a deep taproot nutrient miner, so it's bringing up lots of minerals to the top. And it is an excellent for all of those. It's excellent for teas. It's excellent for chop and drop. You can add it to your compost pile. You can mulch with it. So that's something that we're going to be developing here. We planted 5 or 6 last year, and we will just keep adding them to the property.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very good.
We like our
reparative
comfrey
plant. We absolutely do. Besides the healing benefits of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can find one more. We're on to some good plant questions here. Tammy Williams on the 3 natural cough remedies. What is a good substitution for lavender? My daughter is allergic to lavender.
It depends on how old she is. If she's, if not a toddler, you can put in something like an oregano. That would be really good. You could use a tea tree oil. That could be helpful. Or you could just leave it out altogether. The oregano is a little hotter, so it's not ideal for a baby or a toddler, unlike lavender is pretty gentle. If she's older than toddler age, you could use an oregano oil. You could use a tea tree oil. You don't want to use necessarily those things when they're very young because they're stronger acting on the body. So I'd stay away from that. You can always just leave it out if you want to. You just have to make sure you leave that in the fridge because there's no preservatives in that salve. And, it can go bad. It can get a little mold or something on it if you leave it out on the counter. So you really want to get that into the refrigerator, especially if you're not using those essential oils.
Very good.
Okay.
Well, that's it. We're out of time.
All right.
Yeah. So it's been great hanging with you guys. Do you remember what we're talking about next time? I don't.
I keep forgetting to bring the topic with me, so
absolutely.
We'll get that organized.
We'll get that to you, but it's been great hanging out with you today.
Hey, sign up for that webinar. Don't miss that webinar. Go down to the description and sign up. I'd love to see you over there.
Okay, we will see you there.
Okay. Goodbye.